Everyone makes mistakes, even with plants. You shouldn't blame yourself for failing, but for not trying once more. I'm kidding, but seriously now we are going to fix this. This video is about some of the most common plant parent mistakes that not only beginners but sometimes even advanced plant parents make. The first and worst plant parent mistake that you can make is not research for the plants that you are about to buy. But no, seriously, why are you researching the plant that you want to buy? Am I talking to a wall? Oh wait, crap, I'm talking to a wall. Now, will you start researching the plants that you're about to buy? It is that time of the day, and I won't say year because this thing sometimes happens throughout the day multiple times. It is that time of the day that you're taking a relaxing walk and you suddenly see some plants. We all have phones and you can just pick up your phone, search for the plant's name and see what conditions they need in order to thrive. So you will avoid buying something that you will kill. Every plant has its character. Some might need more light or love the moisture, but some might prefer a drier environment. So like a good plant parent that you are obliged to research the plant that you are about to adopt before even adopting it. This way you can make sure that you will be able to provide the right conditions for your plant in order to make it happy. The next mistake again happens before you buy your plant, and it is to choose some plant arrangements that you have no intention on splitting, that have plants that need different things, like these arrangements that have a croton and a cactus and some succulents but also have a fern inside. I have seen this. So please avoid these arrangements if you do not intend on splitting the plants in different pots to provide them what they need. Over or under watering. Now this one is a really huge killer. You should know your plant needs and your specific environment, because even though we can provide some guides like that ferns like moisture, your home will be different than my home, so you will need maybe to provide more water or less water depending on your location. This is something that even old advanced plant parents struggle sometimes, because it is depending on each plant specifically. In the course of the hobby, a plant parent will not be able to collect all the plants and learn about all the plants to the same degree. Some might know better about the ferns or the calatheas. Some might be a philodendron lover. That means that you should collect information from all the plant parents that you meet, so you can create your own collection and master the plants that you like. Watering your plant based on a schedule like once or twice a week would be good to be avoided, because each place, its house, a normal house, won't have stabilized parameters like temperature and humidity all year around, so you have to learn to observe the soil and the plant in order to know when you need to water the plant. If you do not trust your plant analyzing, then you can use a moisture meter in order to be extra sure when the plant needs watering and when not. The next one is giving or letting your plants with the wrong type of soil. This monstera, for example, was about to die because I decided when I bought her to let her be in the corner of the room in order to acclimate and feel herself home. The shop that I bought this monstera from did not put a good type of soil for monsteras. For monsteras, for example, we need something that has drainage and gives some air to the soil. This soil is something really dense that does not let the water go through, resulting in drowning the roots of the monstera. And this gave us some really nice black leaves that I had to cut but could not save. Now the plan for this plant is to change the soil, but that being said, you should always mix your own soil mixes or buy a mix that will work for the certain plant that you want. This monstera really needs some help and repotting. I will make a new guide video about how to mix your own soil in order to keep your monsteras healthy, alive, and the opposite exactly of this. Something that I failed doing right when I first started getting into the houseplant hobby was choosing the right size and material of pot. Let's get started with the size first. When I first bought my pothos plant and a pepermint, I thought that the bigger the pot, the faster and better the plant would grow. So I went ahead and transplanted my little pothos plant to a huge pot, and I mean huge pot. This is going to make your plant incapable of driving the moisture of the soil. When the soil does not have enough roots inside it, it will remain wet for longer periods of time, resulting in root rot. This is kind of what was going to happen with my plant, my pothos, because the root ball was so small that it could not handle all this water. And as we know, pothos are not that humid environment lovers. They want the water, but they like to remain kind of dry also. Lucky me, I learned fast enough that this was a huge mistake, because I saw that the plant was not making new leaves, it was trying to make new roots in order to fill the pot. So the leaves remained still, no growth for months, and it started looking kind of sad. So I've searched online, I've asked my mother and my grandma that had a plant nursery before, and they told me that I was silly. So I transplanted again back these pothos to a small pot this time, and now it is growing really well. As for the pot material, it will depend on the watering habits that you have and the plant. For example, ceramic pots don't lose the moisture so fast, so for plants like calatheas and other plants that love moisture, ceramic pots would be nice. But if you put them in a terracotta pot that dries really fast, then they will most probably die. Terracotta pots are more suitable for plants like cactus and succulents. The next mistake is not having a designated place, a designated location for the plant that you have. Plants can really get stressed when they change places all the time. So if you are moving your plant around every couple of hours or days, then the plant will be really stressed and anxious and won't be able to just focus on its growth, but it will try to focus on its survival. So when buying a plant, it is better to find the place, the location that you are going to put that plant first before getting the plant home. The adventure of moving your plant from the plant nursery to your house will cause enough stress to the plant, so it is always better to have a place, a location in mind, so you can put it there and let it acclimate and get used to the new environment. The next one is something that you might not agree with me at first, but listen me out. Plant communication. Yes, we can learn to communicate with our little plants, and this is done how? Our plants will show us what they want, if they need more water, more light, or something different, by creating some yellow leaves or drooping their leaves or trying to move around in order to search for the light, or becoming leggy with no leaves and log stems. These are all the ways that a plant can communicate with us. If we really care about the plant, we can start observing and looking for these signs in order to learn how to communicate with this plant. If you want to take it to the extreme, you can take a paper and write down the name of the plant, for example, Passiflora, and start writing down the signs and the causes of these signs. For example, yellow leaves, not enough watering. Leggy vines, not enough lighting. So this way you will start getting used to these signs and never miss a problem. As we were saying, mistakes can happen, and especially when you are really excited about your vacation. So when you are going to make the list of the things that you want to take with you, make a list with the planned things that you need to do before leaving. This way you can make sure that you will find your plants alive when you finally return home. This is something more focused on the beginner plant parents, and it is the fear of pruning. Sometimes we need to prune, to cut some pieces off of a plant because they have a disease or because we want to make the plant more full to promote new growth. You should not be afraid, if you know what you are doing, to prune and cut your plants and arrange the leaves and clean them and tie them on poles. This should not be something that you are avoiding. It is a part of the hobby. Do you remember the pothos that we were talking about earlier? Well, let's talk about over or under propagation. What I mean by this is, when I had my pothos, my new pothos, I was so excited and wanted to create so many new plants that I started propagating everything, leaving nothing but a small stem in the end. So this actually ruined the plant. It is now surviving, but this ruined the plant. We have to learn when to propagate and when to step back and let the plant grow more before propagating again. Of course, we need to propagate our plants because it is better to have 2 or 3 pots in order to be extra safe. If something happens to the one pot, then we will have the another and the another and the another one as a backup. But we should not ruin our plants in order to propagate them. We should propagate them in order to promote new growth and help the plant become more full. This stem was propagated, and as you can see, we have new growth. Also, another mistake that you could do is not subscribing. I want to thank all of you for your amazing support. We have passed the 200 subscriber count mark, and we are growing day by day faster and faster. And the dream of 11 years of creating a YouTube channel is finally happening. And the last one for today is not fertilizing your plants. When I first got into the hobby, I did not fertilize my plants at all. I just watered them with the regular water, filtered water, but with no fertilizer at all. This will not help the plant grow as fast as it could. Because if the water is not coming from a crystal clear waterfall riverbank or something, it won't have enough nutrients to provide for your plant in order to help it grow. So we have to put fertilizers to the plants in order to promote a better color, more growth, and more healthy roots.